Hello, folks. How you're doing today? This your reporter for the Borderless Africa. Borderless Africa is what we need. Other than that, we're not gonna make it. Borderless Africa. And then like, subscribe, and hit the bell button so that anytime we upload, you can have the privilege to our analysis. We take hard issues and we break it down for your common understanding. We break it down. We go behind the X-ray and scan and bring you out what a lot of people don't want to talk about, or what is hidden in the blind side of a lot of people's analysis. Today's analysis is going to be on a KSM's a report on whether Kotoka's name should remain at the top over there at the airport, or we should rename the airport after Kwame Nkrumah. When I listened to KSM, he made a lot of revelations and on Kwame Nkrumah, and which most of us knew already, but for new people, it's a fresh air of knowledge and revelation of what Kwame Nkrumah was doing and why they have to remove him. Okay, back to Kotoka's name on the airport. It's not the Efe people, Kotoka's people or my people, who are on the way. I'm going to reveal what I know about Kotoka, but let me go on. It is the NPP, the UP tradition, so-called, and the political accounts. There is difference between beautiful Akan people in general, 99.9% of Akan people, and the few political accounts who runs nothing of a politics than a tribal politics for their own selfish interest. We should know by now, okay? If 10 years ago, or even if 6 months ago, I was talking about their selfishness, a lot of people would probably be calling me out. But the chips fell where they may now. I'm quoting KSM, and through that crash to earth is now rising up. So we all know the MPP and the political accounts that are running it, even not in the interest of majority, 99.99% of accounts, not in your interest. You know by now. Okay, so they are the one keeping Kotoka's name up there, because if we have to drop Kotoka's name, we have to put Kwame Nkrumah over there, which they don't want. Akufo don't want to say Kotoka's name over there, maybe JB Dankwa, but none of them want Kwame Nkrumah's name on that airport, which KSM says when people are coming to Ghana, mostly it's because, especially from Americas, it's simply because of Kwame Nkrumah and his audacity, giving the middle finger to the British and the whole imperial establishment. So people know Kwame Nkrumah for his bravado and his boldness of giving the middle finger to these motherfuckers, and so that's the reason why people want to come. And when they come, the first thing they see is Kotoka. They say, where is Kwame Nkrumah? Okay, so I totally understand that, and throughout all my discussions with friends, I've been calling this thing out. I've been calling it out that Kotoka's name should not be there. Okay, Kotoka is the overture, the door opener for this UP tradition. Other than that, they wouldn't have tested power nowhere in Kwame Nkrumah's Ghana. They knew, because they have no message. Property ownership in democracy, or whatever they call their policy, their major policy is property owning democracy. What crap is that? So that anybody who don't have money, it's not in a real estate business, it's not a businessman, it's nothing. All you have to do is come close to these people's leadership. Even if you're not in a leadership position, you could start owning property in Ghana, across Ghana. And whether you have money or no money, you're going to get prime land, and the money will come from Bank of Ghana. Whether you're going to pay or you don't going to pay, we don't know. Because when you look at all the people who came out with a lot of projects, massive construction, massive real estate development, you wonder where they got the money from. So all you have to do is get closer to NPP leadership when they are in power, and you become a huge estate developer, money or no money. Okay, so that is the political accounts for you. And if it hadn't been for Kotoka with the 1966 coup, they'll never have been anywhere close to power because they have no message. So Kotoka, they hated him, they hated his tribe, the Ewe people, but they don't want to drop his name out of that airport simply because he has done a lot for them. And they turn around and kill him. The coup to overthrow or whatever led to the murder, the brutal murder of Kotoka, was not a coup as a lot of people would like a counter coup to bring Kwame Nkrumah. No. Kotoka was the one who went to Congo and kicked the Belgians' ass. He was leading that. Kwame Nkrumah sent him. And they did a marvelous job. According to BBC report on that independence of the Congo, they said the Belgians, according to BBC, the Belgians were running away, and the Kotoka and Co. And they didn't mention his name, but he was one of the leaders in that liberation of the Congo from the Belgians. They captured them at the airport to force them. And this, according to BBC, this was a young soldiers from Ghana, a new country called Ghana, that were doing this marvelous job to this imperialist Belgium. They surrounded them at the airport and forced them to sign the independence. And that the rest is history. That is BBC report on the independence of the Congo. Kotoka was part of that. So Kotoka was not just an ordinary soldier. So being in the helm of the National Liberation Council, he is no match to Haile. He was no match to Ankara or Haile. These are police people. Haile was a police officer. So the highest ranking military personnel over there in that coup was Kotoka, Kwashi Kotoka. Okay, and at the instigation of the Achim Mafia, the UP people, Kwame Nkrumah was overthrown. Through the CIA, which gave a lot of money to the political accounts, and I don't even know if the soldiers had any money out of that thing. But now, the UP gang had their way. Kwame Nkrumah is no longer an obstacle. But they have to be afraid of Kotoka. They have to remove the other person over there. He was so good with his game as a military officer, and he probably may not want things to go the way the political accounts would like it to be, of stealing money and taking money for personal projects that they want to own. You see, so Kotoka has to go. If Rawlings, listen, KSM and Co. and the people, the beautiful people that I'm talking to, if Rawlings at almost 70-something years old, not at his prime, was still being feared for and have to be eliminated some years ago, 5 years ago, what about Kotoka in his prime, just coming out from an adventure in the Congo and led a coup? If Rawlings could be eliminated, because Rawlings still have a reach to the armed forces of Ghana, and he needs to be eliminated so that all these are Japatin and all these things, the only person who can talk and roar like a lion on that corruption, grand scale corruption, was Rawlings even at his weakest. Rawlings at his weakest was still need to be eliminated. Rawlins at his weakest. Okay, so Kotoka in his prime has to go. Rawlins himself said these people never change. They never change their, whatever hunger they have, it will never change. They may change their names, but the political accounts and their hunger for whatever it is that they want to do to dominate everything, collect everything for themselves, will never change. That hunger will never change. They will use their people as they use their people tribally, to vote massively for them. But at the end of it all, they will keep them hungry. They will keep them hungry. So Rawlins got to go. Same way as Rawlins said that they can never change their appetite. Their appetite remained from day one. That J.B. Danquah was, in fact, giving hell to Kwame Nkrumah. That was their hunger. No state enterprise. Ghana should not build any factory. Nothing. Private sector. But where is the money? Where are you going to get the money from? Kwame Nkrumah himself said in several books that I read that when he came to Ghana, nobody got money. J.B. Danquah had no money. He never practiced no law. Who would take J.B. Danquah's advocacy? The white people, the colonial people, no, they don't need no lawyer because they were thieves themselves. They don't need no lawyer. They were legitimately committing crime. So who will take them to court? And the white people will never hire J.B. Danquah to protect them, and Ghanaians have no money to hire J.B. Danquah for anything. Only few land litigation were there in the 1950s, right up to the 60s. So who is hiring J.B. Danquah? Where he got his money from? As a lawyer, as a practicing lawyer. You see, look at it. Who is hiring J.B. Danquah in 1956, 1954? Heading towards the independence of the Gold Coast, which team are with the Western Togona to have formed Ghana. Okay? Without the Western Togoland, part of Togo, in the hands of the British after the Germans have been defeated, and next to the Gold Coast, there won't be no Ghana. So when people, those of you who say, go back to Togo, the Ephes are already living in Togoland. So anytime you tell one Ephes people to go back to Togo, you are telling them to take back their land that was added to the Gold Coast to become Ghana. The two became Ghana. The Gold Coast was about to be named by J.B. Danquah as Akanland. And J.B. Danquah hated its own record, hated the Western Togoland to be part of the Gold Coast as one nation, because he knew the kind of people coming over there were almost had a nationhood by themselves. Long before the Gold Coast, the Togoland was a thriving nation. Okay, a lot of artisans, a lot of so many people, prominent people, because they were running it as a nation while the Gold Coast was under slavery by the British. The British did not train the Gold Coasters in anything apart from few schools. They say, oh, the Gold Coasters had elites. Yeah, so is Togoland. Okay, so for them coming into the Gold Coast to form one nation, J.B. Danquah knew he's going to have a lot of peers, a lot of educated people, and a lot of artisans who would take some of their shine, because at that time they were the so-called elites, and they know coming of Togoland, part of Togoland, you're gonna have all these Bedemans. Bedeman's father was from was at that time in Lagos as a businessman. The Ephes have three nations that they traverse, three capitals: Lome, Cotonou, and Lagos. So they were more of a what to say, advanced in most stuff. We have Lome, they even have Kata, Lome, Cotonou, and Lagos. So people who are traversing in all these four metropoles will have a lot of exposure than Achim people locked up in the Gold Coast under the tyrannical rulership of the British. Okay. So, those of you who say, go back to Togo, no, the people already are in their land. When you tell an Ewe man to go back to Togo, you are telling him to take back his land from the Gold Coast, from what is called Ghana, and you may have your Akan land or your Gold Coast. You are free to name it any way you want to name it. Okay. So Kotoka was the door opener for these people. That's why his name is there. It's not because of Ewe people who want his name to be there. If Ewe people don't know the politics, then they may be a little bit, pissed, emotional. Oh, our man's name has to be there. But if they know the politics of what is running Ghana, you see, we never had a lot of power to say Kotoka's name should supposed to be over there. When Kwame Nkrumah, who brought the Ewes as an experimenter for African unity and left, we become orphans in Ghana at the mercy of the political accounts. Not accounts, but political accounts. They did a lot of bad things to us. Busia came and removed a lot of our top management people who Kwame Nkrumah trusted, because for Kwame Nkrumah, if you can perform, he will keep you. So our people didn't take their power to Accra and become head of departments. Kwame Nkrumah's Ghana appointed them. Because Kwame Nkrumah, if you're not performing, he will remove you. He's a pro-performance person. Okay, a proactive leader. That was Kwame Nkrumah. When you prove to him, he will keep you. So by the time we realize all his security men, people who are close to him, his confidant became a people who came from this territory. He added to the Gold Coast. His cook is Rawlings' mother. You see, Rawlings' mother didn't come from Qatar and push herself onto the Kwame Nkrumah household. No, a lot of people were called and then selection was made. Okay, so when Busia came, Busia could have changed that name. Okay, but no. When Kutu Achampon came, he could have. The only person who came being an Ewe is J.J. Rawlings. Right after that, Mills could have changed it. Kufuor could have changed it. Another person who really had problem with Rawlings' people, especially in the military, and touched the military, and since the military has never been the same. And then come the Kasongo himself, a petty tribalistic politician who hated the Ewes to just, he don't want to stand, he can't stand them. They won't vote. Oh, he took it so personal because they didn't vote for him. And tell them in their face when they are facing, a fraud, the pillage that was determined and intentional. That pillage of the dam was intentional, so that the people could be dislodged, so that they won't be able to vote. He came over there and told them in their face. So that man could have changed Kwame Nkrumah's, could have changed Kotoka's name from the airport. But if he changed it, he have to put JB Dankwah over there, which a lot of people probably would not like. And if they have won through Bawumia for another 8 years, they will have changed it to JB Dankwah. Because by then, the Ghanaians will have been brainwashed to a point that the only name we're going to be hearing everywhere is JB Dankwah. And it will be so easy to slip his name on top of that airport and not Kwame Nkrumah. If Kwame Nkrumah 2 City can be intentionally withdrawn from society. Okay, back on Kotoka. I know Kotoka. Kotoka is a family man. He's my uncle. When Kotoka came back from Congo, he came to his uncle, which is my grandfather. Kotoka's grandmother and my grandfather were one mother, one father. Okay. Her name is Koiba, Mama Koiba. He's the firstborn to my grandfathers. Okay, so they went to Fiaho and my grandfathers were in Anyako. Kotoka came to Qatar. My grandfather went to the Congos when the Belgians were looking for educated people to work with them in the Belgian Congo. My grandfather were few people who were, a lot of people from the Kata area were enlisted to go take a ship and go to the Congo. The Germans have given them enough education through the Bremen mission. The British were not in the Congo area. The British were not in the Kata area, as people were saying, oh, Kata area is for the Gold Coast. It's been part of the Gold Coast and never been part of the Western Togoland. No. If you want to know why the British didn't put any Anglican church over there or Wesleyan mission over there, the Germans were the one who codified our alphabet, and the Anglo language is the one chosen as is the written one in the Bible, and it's the one that the Togo people in Lome read in their churches. It's the one the Ebbers read in Cotonou. So the Germans were in Kata. The British didn't do damn thing. It was after the Germans lost the territory, it was there the British criminally annexed Anglo area as a gift to Queen Victoria. So if you want to know whether the British were there or the German, whether Kata was part of a Togoland, look at the alphabet. It wasn't codified by the British. Other than that, we'll be writing Chikata as K-Y-T-A-K-A-T-A. Chikata, like they say Achim. But we write Chikata as T-S-E K-A-T-A. Okay. So that is the difference right there. That is the history right there. You cannot change it. The British did nothing. We don't have Anglican church up to today. Nothing of Anglican or Wesleyan in the Volta region up to today. Right from Kata right to the top of Volta region. So those of you who don't know the history, check your alphabet. Okay. Now, Kotoka, back on Kotoka. My grandfather went to Congo, had my mother over there, and left some siblings over there, because my grandfather had to marry a Belgian citizen or a Congolese citizen to have his papers. Married my grandmother and left some children over there and brought my mother back and all that children back to Ghana. Because my grandfather was poisoned because the Belgians were envious of him, because they say why he could be typing and at the same time talking on the phone. He's a witch. Talking and typing. He will be talking to the Belgians in Brazil, in Kinshasa, and at the same time typing a different thing. The Belgians could not do any of those things. The white people who came from Belgium in the Congo, Kinshasa, Leopoldville, could not do anything like that. So my grandfather was able to display little multitasking. He was poisoned and he couldn't die, so he came back to he came back to the Gold Coast. No, he came back to Togoland before the independence came. When he became Ghana, he came to the Togoland and settled in Kata. So when Nkrumah went to Congo, his Wafasi went to Congo, he visited his uncles or his siblings. Kotoka visited his siblings and came back with a report. That is when I saw Kotoka. In 1966, he came back, or 65, came back. And my grandmother poured powder on him. Okay, pour powder on him. My grandfather called him Koshi, a boy. Have you come back? Have you returned? So I was a little kid at that time, but I was grown. I was about maybe 5, 6. So So the following day, my auntie, who was in Tamale with the husband, they came back to the south with turkey. Okay, my auntie Connie and the husband. So they brought this turkey to Kata so that we could rear it or whatever, whether we could eat it, whatever it is, I don't know. My grandmother the following day took this turkey to where Kotoka was staying. And guess what? In whose house? It was Harley's house. Harley is also a family man. It was Harley's home. We knew the house. I knew the house because it's one of the beautiful houses in the 60s over there. Beautiful modern house. So we passed by, it would say Harley's house. This Harley's, Harley Fapinia, Harley Fapinia. I just hear Harley. I didn't know he was in politics or anything, but I know the name because it's a household name and it's part of our family. Kotoka was a guest in that house, and we took the turkey the following day to that house so that they could have a turkey meal. That was how important he was to his uncle, my grandmother, and then and he deserved that turkey and not us. Okay, when Kotoka was murdered, guess who took the government give the death certificate and released the body to? My uncle, who was the king of the clan, Togbi Badu III. So I know something about Kotoka very well. Okay, but I do not want his name to be there. Not other people who are not even so far away from him. I do not want his name to be up there. That's how fair it is. Because if Kwame Nkrumah have not been kicked out, his experimentation of the Efe people into Akan land, aka Gold Coast, will have been successful. We will never have been catching hell, because that was what Kwame Nkrumah was doing, starting with the half part of Togoland as his experimentation for African unity. We were an experiment. This is the truth. Everybody's supposed to. This is the truth. We are an experiment. And the father of the experiment, the architect of the experiment, when he was kicked out, the very people who do not want our presence to be part of the Gold Coast, to gain independence, to become Ghana, started treating us as if we are stepchildren. And yes, they treated us like a stepchildren in so-called Ghana. 2 years ago, Akufo-Addo went to Ho under the lie that from Ho, all the subsequent 6 March celebrations will be going around the country. It's a damn lie. He went over there, assembled all our people, and told them in their face, you people chose to be part of us. So whatever we have, when we eat finish, we're gonna give you. He recalled the brave effort of J.B. Dankwa. Everything he recalled everything that they did. He schooled them on J.B. Dankwa, a load of history from his family to our people. Even though he mentioned few of our people, Badama and Nkulenu and Philip Beho and them, he didn't mean it. He schooled them and said, you are stepchildren. You asked to come over here. We didn't force you. So if things are not working for you, hey, too bad. You chose. That's what he was, throwing his fingers. You chose to come here. You chose to come here. Okay, so a person like that, with that hate, if you think it is his will to keep Kotoka at the port entry, the major port entry of the Ghana that they said is theirs, no, it's because of political machination. Kotoka is the door opener for their entry into Ghanaian politics. Kotoka was the door opener. That's the only reason for the UP gang. That's the only reason Kotoka's name is on that airport. Nothing more, nothing less. KSM. Nothing more, nothing less. It's not because we, the Evers, will agitate. They can remove that. When Busia came and removed our people, what power we had? 560-something top management people. Do you know that thing have created poverty, everlasting poverty? People who were earning good money, sending not only their children to schools, but extended family members. 500 and something of them were sacked like that because they were Ewe. Busia did that. Busia may not be anti-Ewe because Busia came from London, coming from Borno. He probably don't even hear about, probably didn't hear so much about my people, and went to England. When he went to England, he probably met a lot of our people over there, because in those days I had an uncle who's also, Dr. Hodanu, doing very well in Glasgow. So Busia probably met a lot of our people over there, maybe took some of them as friends in the 50s. So these people brought Busia not because of anything, because he had a doctorate degree, to counter Kwame Nkrumah. And he came, the coup happened, they manipulated the results. Well, because CPP was the only major party then, and it was being brutalized and it's in the gutters and was banned. So the UP people will win anyway. They win. They won the election. Busia became the prime minister. Akufo-Addo's father became Ofori-Atta became the president. And the very people who hated Evers, not Busia. Busia was on a page, mirror page, dancing with my sister. Yeah, my sister Eddie was a socialite, pretty as they come, in a mirror, front mirror. I don't know the date, but Busia was, spotted, put on the front page with Sister Eddie, dancing, because my sister was so beautiful. Okay, so Busia, I won't say he's an anti-Ewe, because he wasn't even, he was too young when he left. He was a teenager when he left, maybe 21. A 21-year student going to abroad for further studies who have no hate for nobody. And where he was living, he hailed from, in Borno, never been to the Volta region before, but he probably knew Bedama. He probably knew Dr. Chapman, the man who took over from the white man at Achimota. He probably knew these people. He probably heard about Philip Beho. He probably heard about the first woman who won the Ghana pageant, the number 9 lady from Peki, Amekwafia. Okay, so I don't think, but he was pushed to remove my people. Okay, that time Kotoka's name was still at the airport, but Kotoka was the overture, the door opener. That is what the NPP, that's the reason why the NPP political accounts kept his name over there. They would love to remove it. Oh, they would love to remove it. So KSM, I don't want to write a long commentary under your posting, but I made this video so we can get into the corners of why Kotoka's name is up there. I'll come back on Konedu and Rollins there, and so many other things. Konedu married to a color, not Everman. So when the color is not shining no more, she did what she got to do, man. She jumped carpet. She jumped where the gravy train. That woman has been a chaser for gravy. Whatever things were so good, that's where she is. She claimed he and Rollins come from a different world. Yeah, Rollins is the one who made this woman, who gave self-esteem to this woman. But any chance this woman had, she want to put down Rollins as if she's coming from a very, high class household. If your father is that created a high class household for you, why you have to be thanking Rollins for opening your eyes? Because your father did not instill self-esteem in you, even though he was a manager at GNTC, a top manager at GNTC. You came with low self-esteem. And according to her, at the 75th anniversary of Achimota, go and check it out on YouTube, she said it, that Rollins was surrounded by so many beautiful girls at Achimota that she never thought Rollins could even say hi to her. Okay, and the rest is history. But this woman have never been anything. Rollins is the one who used her background as a graphic designer to start making traditional Christmas cards. Even the Catholic Church, did not like it. Rollins all the time talk about that. But that woman's supposed to continue doing that. But when Rollins, I don't know, because she has no vim. Rollins gave her a tomatoes factory. Million years now. Monies have been injected into, but there's no single tomatoes coming out from, and Traore could be a grandchild to Konedu Ajiman Rollins. That boy in Burkina used less than 2 years to create a tomatoes factory, cannery. And Sawon factory has been given to this woman. She's not a go-getter. She's just the only thing this woman got going for this woman is she went to Achimota. That's the only thing she flagged out. Apart from that, nothing. She's not a go-getter. Just like the people that she went and joined dancing with these days. They are not go-getters. They cannot walk and make money by themselves. They have to steal. They have to loot. So Nana Ajiman Rollins, that's the way I see her. She's not a go-getter. She's a lazy woman. And marry Rollins for his color of skin. That's all. That's all. And Rollins' dead is hanging on her neck. This woman is not Winnie Mandela. No, she's not. If you believe in your 31st December organization and what it stood for, nothing can stop you from not going on with your 31st December organization. Your husband may be passed on, but his campaign of accountability, you should have been carrying on. Since your husband passed, when was the last time you went to the Volta region? You didn't marry that man because he came from the Volta region. You married that man because of his high skin, light skin, persona. And you shine in his glory. And anytime you have a platform, you try to denigrate his background. Or we are like night and day. Yeah, you might be like night and day. Rollins a go-getter. He's an aggressive human being. He has his faults. Rollins has his fault. I could start mentioning his faults. He has his faults. And I'm not like a really fan of Rollins because of so many things. But he has his faults. He has his faults. But you gave him up to the wolf to silence him. And he's gonna hang on your neck. His funeral, you upstage it. His people could not even come and perform their beautiful culture. No. When Kotoka passed, Kotoka was given to my uncle. His death certificate, his body was handed over to the king of his clan, his grandmother's clan. Rawlings was not given to his people. And you orchestrated all that in being in the center of all the glory of that funeral. It's all right.